Hey, folks, Studio here. Let's do some real Hearthstone content. Oh yeah. Alright, so this is Hearthstone. This is the first screen you'll see in the game after you've done all the tutorials. So I'm just going to introduce some concepts, play a game, and give you a good rundown of what the beginning of Hearthstone is like. So, first thing you actually do in Hearthstone is you do some tutorials and you're given the option to practice. Now this practice, you can unlock other classes with it. So if I go over here, I've got all the basic decks. What I could do is choose my Druid, go up against a Hunter, and if I did not have Hunter unlocked, I could then unlock it. You start with Mage. So that's the practice stuff, not too much to go into there. The card stuff, I think, is one of the more interesting facets of the game, but it's hard to get into with too much detail. You're going to get a deck at the beginning of the game that's just like the basic deck for that class. It has a bunch of useful spells. It doesn't have everything the class might necessarily need, though, and usually they lack some of the higher mechanics. For example, this Druid deck. It's got a lot of spells that are pretty useful. I can get a lot of mana. I can deal some damage. I could, claw with my Druid, which is pretty cool. But if I go to the expert stuff, then cards I actually don't have. Oops. There's a bunch of cards with choices. These are cards you do not get for free. You have to actually get them from packs. Any expert or golden card would be from a pack. And for example, this card you have a choice. This card you have a choice on what you can do. Choose one, and that's a lot of the Druid's gameplay. So you get a little bit of gameplay, like you get the basics of a class, but then like I'd say the core of a class, usually the choices or how they play out, is relegated to the expert decks. And with the neutral guys, these are guys that can be used by any class. You have a bunch of different cards that don't get used until later on, or you can't use till you get them, and they have lots of cool features. Like this crab eats murlocs. Like, come on. This is a murloc eating crab. Actually, one more thing about the card sets. You can make a deck when you're starting out, and I recommend it because some of the basic decks aren't too strong. But the problem is, if you don't know what's going on, let me make a new Priest deck. My Priest is level 1, it doesn't have any basic cards unlocked besides the few you get when you start the class. Let me make a basic Priest deck without really understanding anything. So just a card. Can do that, can do that, can do that. This looks cool, that looks cool, that looks cool. And you kind of get what I'm going for. You can very easily make a deck where you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, when you first start playing, you'll be like, that's the thing that looks cool. Like, this guy has charge, cool, but you can't really do a lot with it. I don't know, man, I don't know. So it's like, you'll make a deck, and the deck will have essentially a bunch of random cards. But there is some order to. And then you'll just add more cards, and it'll be like, this is my deck. This is like your first trading card deck, where you don't know what the hell you put into it. And now this deck, I have no idea what's in it. It's probably horrible. There is no focus. But I do recommend making a deck as soon as you can understand what's going on in the game. Let's go ahead. Let's play an actual game. This is going to be with a Paladin. A Paladin's level 1, too. So I'll use the basic deck to show you what it's like when you first start playing. And I have never played Paladin before, never practiced it. I've been saving it for this video, so let's see how it goes. I'll explain some of the gameplay mechanics once we get in there, and there's a good chance I will just get annihilated. A, because I don't know what cards are in this deck. And B, because at the moment this is still in beta, the matchmaking can have some issues. There are most certainly some moments where I will be playing and be like, oh yeah, that guy has like 8 of the best cards in the game, and I die. So we don't need to. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, you can choose which cards you keep. I'll go into that. The second player gets an extra card, and player 1 gets to go first. So these are all my cards. I can't play anything until his turn finishes. He plays a wolf. Pretty good card. It's standard, nothing too fancy about it. I want to take out that wolf ASAP, because if I read the card, he adds 1 damage to other beasts, and he's a hunter, he'll summon a lot of beasts. I'll put down the footman. Footman has something called taunt, so if you want to hit my hero, and reduce my HP down to 0, you got to get through the footman with taunt first. That's the early game right there. You play a card, sometimes you won't play a card, you won't have anything, and ooh, that's a jerk. Silence, my guy. Silence removes all the card effects, so if you look at the footman, he no longer has that taunt description. That's okay though, because I can kill that guy. Make him much less useful.
I hope you like my invention.
Essentially, every time you play this game, when you're starting out, you want to find out what cards are useful, what cards have a good focus, what cards do stuff. Ooh. That'll be a good card for a sec from now.
Locked and loaded.
The way the stats in the game work, there's health and there's damage. Health, well, that's how much damage a minion can take. Damage is how much damage they do per attack. Every time you attack, it's 1 for 1, so you'll trade. No! There goes my... Actually, I think he's gonna kill him. Let's see, this was not that useful for me to have. So I want to take out his most useful cards. This guy has a battle cry. Battle cry, when someone comes out, they'll deal 1 damage. This guy, every time someone is summoned, he deals 1 damage to a random enemy. And every time a beast is summoned, that guy gets a card. And he's low on cards. So if I can reduce the amount of cards he has, that'll be huge. This is why I'm also going to use this. I could attack with that, but I won't. And I'm holding on to the coin. The coin is something you get for being player 2. It gives you 1 extra mana to use per turn. The mana system, the way it works is every time a turn goes by, you get one more mana to use spells. Or cards. He's got a lot of cards, but he's running low on cards. So it's actually not that bad for me. Let's see. So I've got 4 mana I can play, or 5 mana I can play with. I kind of want to get rid of the hyena right now, because hyena is really powerful. And I will do that. Another stupid hammer. I'll equip the hammer, but I'm not going to use it. Realize I am a newbie at this game. I've just played through the game a few times and I have the base mechanics down. So, card number is an interesting strength of this game. There are very few mechanics that let you draw more cards. Like, Pokemon has Build. Build gives you 2 free cards. At least this was Generation 1, way back when. So having a bunch of cards is a big deal, because now if you look at this, I've got a bunch of cards. So I can go ahead... Oh, that's going to be really annoying. Damn. Oh no, the phone! Not now, phone, not now. So if I can start getting my cards down, it'll be hugely useful. Ooh.
The gates are open.
Something called Divine Shield. This will let my character take a shot without taking any damage. You'll learn all the buffs over time. Something like Divine Shield's very useful. Essentially, if this guy wants to get through my line, he's going to have to sacrifice someone just to take some damage. Oh god. And now he can kill him with that guy, but he loses a unit. I'm in a pretty scary position though, because he can kill me next turn, I'm pretty sure. And I don't think I can do anything to stop it at all. Damn. Huh. Oh, I can try this. Oh, this will work.
For the king!
So this guy has charge. Charge lets people attack when they're first placed down. Normally there's like a rest period. I buffed his attack by 3 with the card. And I stay alive.
For justice!
Barely.
I hope you like my invention.
Job's done.
Okay, that's a good. That's a really good card to get right now. I'm in a dangerous position because he can do 6 damage a turn. We'll see how this plays out. Oh, he killed that minion. That's good. I'll take that. That minion doesn't do a lot of damage, didn't have a lot of HP. That's just there for the utility, and I had the... Oh, thank God, I had the card to spare. Let me put this down, just so I don't die. And you'll be able to kill him next turn. Once again, the taunt here is huge because this guy has to go through me. He does have some cards that can reduce my HP. Oh, that's not what I wanted to hear.
I've got a huge gun. Handle it. For justice.
I theoretically can survive with 2 or 3 HP after this turn. If he gets a good card, I'm dead though. Oh, crap.
Don't mess with Tusker.
I need someone with taunt, and I'm pretty sure I'm dead anyways. Oh, that could actually be useful. Okay. Alright. Question stands, what do I do now? I gotta put that guy down. Pretty much a given.
Hit it very hard. I'm ready. For justice.
I could take out that guy, which I might do. Yeah, I theoretically survive. I might just die because he'll be able to kill me with his hero power. I didn't mention hero powers. Every hero, or every class, has a different thing they can do. Oh my god. That was bad. That was a good top deck draw. Every class has something they can do per turn. And looks like that's that.
For justice. Job done. Well played.
In this case, he's got the steady shot, which lets him do 2 damage per activation. And you can only do it once per turn. Hopefully this was at least somewhat followable. I am screwed though. Now realize this was with a basic deck. A basic deck with no cards unlocked, and I don't even know what cards were in the deck. See, now I get some more cards. When you play the game, the basic decks are honestly garbage, like the pre-made ones. And I highly recommend, you know what? At level 1, the first game you play, I don't recommend actually making a deck, just because you don't know what anything's going to do. It's legit. Unless you've been following the game a lot, then you can try and go for it. Now, get rid of that one too. Let's say I want to make a new deck. Let's say I want to get a new Paladin deck. Go ahead, bust out the Paladin. Build a quick deck. And I'll still use Suggest a card, which it's good for getting a balance out. So it's like, alright, Divine Shield, this was really useful. Alright. Don't need 2 of those. Blessing of Might was super useful. Because it adds damage. This is like, now you look for the useful card. Like, what is stuff that is good? Alright, that guy's pretty powerful. You can neuter an enemy. Wow. And realize I have some extra cards. Maybe played this before, so I have more options. And now I'm building up this, like, alright, this really utility-heavy Paladin deck. I've got a lot of buffs. I've got some good nukes that provide more cards. I don't have the healing, but I don't think healing is super useful for a Paladin. I'd rather just buff people up. And I'm going to avoid Light's Justice like the play, because that is not a good card. Weapons, your hero can attack, they'll trade damage, but the problem with this is it does 1 damage, and it only lasts, and it lasts 4 turns, which is really good, but 1 damage is not very good. Once you start playing, you'll get more and more cards. I will say this game is still in early beta, and the balance is a little iffy. We'll go with iffy. Iffy is the word I would like to use. So, some stuff might be awesome, some stuff might be horribly broken. I realize, of course, this deck would be okay. It's still got a lot of problems. But now, I know the game better, I can choose cards that I think would be useful. And Indian deck building is something you can do in 5 minutes and expect to have a good deck coming out. Especially because this is essentially suggesting random cards. And they're not entirely random, there is a basis, but you know, this isn't the most useful thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little preview into Hearthstone. This video was very, very quickly made, we'll go with that one. But I thought it'd be fun to show the newbie perspective. And I'm actually not going to use this deck at all because I don't like Paladin very much, so goodbye forever deck. That's all for now, folks. Adios.